To measure for your rails, you want to take your lowest point measurement, which is going to be in this case 19 7/8, and go ahead and duplicate that. Make 2 of them. If it's pulled apart, we'll use something to pull it together because it's got to be the same as the bottom. So you're going to put your blocks down, set your rail on top, drill pilot holes and screw it in. To install the rails, what you want to do is set it down on top of your blocks. Use your blocks as sort of a guide for keeping it about 1 inch off the deck. We're going to also counter it back from the 4x4 about 1/2 inch on each side, and that's really for no other reason than for style. It just gives different depth to the outside of the ship, and it gives it a neat look. So to install them, I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill diagonally on the top, each side, and then from behind we'll also drill a toenail in, and that will keep the face from showing so many penetrations of the screws. Keep it cleaner. Alright, for the upper piece of the rail, we're going to go ahead and measure this. We've got 24 3/4 on mine. I'm going to duplicate that over here and make a mark. 24 3/4. That will be the top of my rail. I'm going to fit it in. Now you'll notice something. You're going to have about almost a 1/4 inch gap there. But like I was saying before, that's an okay gap to have because you need to draw these 2 together. For the upper rails on the second upper deck, we're going to make them a little taller than the other rails. We're going to go ahead and mark a line at 26. We can duplicate that all the way around the back on these 4x4s. We're now going to show you how to come up with the angles on these front rails here. As you can see, we're still countering back about 1/2 inch for that look from the outside. Spencer's already cut the 30-degree angle on this side, which works well on the face of the 4x4. And on the other side, we're going to score to find the angle, just like we had before. So you can put your pencil up against it, and that will give you the angle. To get the length, we're going to measure 1/2 inch back, like we said. Make your mark on each side before you measure it from mark to mark. In this case, I have 89 3/8. You're going to take that measurement and transfer it to the board that you're now cutting the angle on. So we've pulled from the long point of our 30-degree angle on the 2x4 that we just had set up on the ship. We had 89 3/8. So we're going to make a mark there. Here's the line that we already scored. Now we're not going to cut this line. This line is really to help us get the angle that we need to transfer over to our actual length. So you put your square on there. You're going to see it's about 58 degrees. Move your square down. Bring it back to 58. And score your new line, which should be exactly parallel with that one. Now this is the line that we're going to cut. It should make it fit. Well, we had a little gap up on the front here, showing us that our 4x4 is sort of leaning out and it's not square with our deck. Way to fix that is to find a low anchor point to get your strap attached to the highest point on your post, which is what we've done. We're going to go ahead and crank that down, and that should bring the top of our 4x4 post. So we've got that set. We can go ahead and attach our rails and then loosen our strap, and it should keep it square. Can I get an amen in the house? Now that we've got our rails up on the front side here, we can mark out for our slide. And what I've done is pulled from the end of the rail from about 34.5 inches. And really, you can position it however you want. Remember, you've got a door opening here, so you don't want to put the slide right over the door opening. I've set it to the side of the door opening. You sort of choose wherever works best in your yard and in the area you have to work with. So now I've gone ahead and marked, we've got a 21-inch rough opening for the slide. We're going to cut the rails out and insert the 2x4s here on either side, turned flat this way. So when we've cut this out, we've gone 3 inches over 21 because we're going to end up putting our 2x4 in here. We've got 1.5 inches here and 1.5 inches here. So that's going to make our rough 21. Now we're going to drill pilot holes on the end, attach them from this way, and then also toenail them in, screw them into the deck. Yes. You need some small screws. That part. Does that look good? We're going to now set the top rails, which we're using deck boards for. First thing you want to do is on your front 4x4, you're going to mark 1 inch and 3/4 over, which is halfway. And I've got a line drawn there. I grabbed a deck board that's 8 foot long. We're going to slide the deck board up. First, what we're going to do is measure back 1 inch from the top rail. And that's how you're going to line your board up all the way down. And then you're going to slide the square into your board until it intersects with the line that you've just drawn. We're going to check it all the way down that we're 1 inch from the top rail. Yeah. I don't know how to explain this. You can't do it. I'm sorry. You just can't do this. It's not possible. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, figure it out. What we want to do on this corner, you can see we've got a square corner, but we're not going to leave it that way. We want to make it decorative, and we want to sort of round it off. So I'll show you how I do that. I'm actually going to bring it about 1/2 inch out from where the face of this is. Now you can measure back. You can see that you've got about 3 3/8 there. You can do it this way. You can mark 3 3/8, which shows you where the face of your 4x4 actually is, and then you can measure out 1/2 inch from there. Some people will like to eyeball that, and that's fine too. We want to do the same thing with the front. That's the actual end of the 4x4. Then I'm going to go 1/2 inch out and draw out your cut line. Alright, to find the line that we're going to cut where the other rail piece will actually join, you're going to place your square with the pivot point here on a 60-degree angle. And you're going to align the end of that angle with the mark that you made in the beginning on the 4x4 that was 1 3/4 inches. The last line we're going to draw for our cut is going to be across the nose here. And the way you're going to get that, bring your square up flush with the 4x4 and draw your line straight across. After we've got our board cut, placed back where it's supposed to go, and make sure you've still got your inch overhang from the outside rail. Fill your holes. I've got 4. And we've got a 4x4, you can sink 4 in. We got no 2x4s here, so I'll do 2 there and 2 here. And if you measure at about 2 inches from the outside, you should hit that top rail all the way down. Take your screws in, space them 8 to 10 inches, and drive in the screws. Alright, we're going to show you how we're doing the spindles for the upper part of the deck here. We've taken a measurement. We're cutting our spindles at 24 5/8, just a little bit shy of what you see on the tape. We just don't want those to hang over any on the bottom. It doesn't look good, and it doesn't look good. This is how we're going to start this. We're going to just take a 2x4 and use it as a spacer all the way down. And you slide the spindle up. You see we've already pre-drilled holes through this. They come down about 1.5 inches to 2 inches from the top. Pre-drilled those to make it quicker. We're going to sink 1 5/8 screws in this. If we're not careful, we'll drive all the way through the back with the 2.5 or 3 inch screws we've been using. So make sure you use the smaller screws where it won't penetrate the back. Once we've screwed that spindle in, we're going to take our spacer, set it up against the first one, space out for the second one. You'll repeat this all the way down till you get to the end. And remember, when you do this, you want to make the opposite side look the same. So if you've started on the front, for instance, you want to start on the front on the other side so that they match up. Alright, here's the second rail board. We're going to go ahead and set it up in place. First thing you want to do, make sure you've got your inch over. Got an inch there. Got an inch here. The second thing we want to do is slide it along that line until we find this intersection point. The point where this line intersects the face. When we found that, and we're still an inch off of the rail, you double check that, double check it, triple check it. We've got it there. That means we're ready to sort of transfer this line up. What we're trying to do is make these two boards meet and create a nice fine line where they join. So you can see on the back where that line needs to be. I've marked it about 1/2 inch out. You can take your square and find where that is. Draw your line, and that's where we'll cut with jigsaw. Alright, most likely our first cut is not going to be our last cut on this. You can see when I cut that, I've got a little over 1/8 gap here, and I'm snug up here. So what I've done is draw my line and allow for that. Alright, we've worked our way towards the back here. When we get to a place where our spindle doesn't fit anymore, we're going to go ahead and rip one down. So we'll Take our spacer, score a line. We're going to just measure what that width is. Got 3 5/8. Take one of our pre-cut boards and rip it to 3 5/8. And it'll look like that. Alright, we've measured for our top rail. We've got 52 1/4. We've already cut that and put it in temporarily. What we want to do on this is center it between the 4x4, so you've got about the same overhang on each side. And to allow the other piece to sit like this, you've got to cut a 45 on this. You're going to make a mark. We're going to go ahead and do the same on the other side. We'll take that down to our saw, put our saw on a 45 degree, and we'll cut those. Okay. Something cool. Saying that, look into a little bit. We've set this rail in, and like we said before, we want to have a 45 degree angle on this piece so that it fits right here. We're going to mark it there. We're going to mark it on the back. So it looks the same. We can do that on the opposite edge too. And we are golden. There we have it. We got a good fit there. We got our 45s on the other side. That about does it for day 2. We want to thank you for joining us for the pirate ship build. Day 2, Knoxville, Tennessee. We're out of here. Write songs like the G6 all day long.
Dang, this is some sweet looking shots I'm getting.
Ooh, was not boom. Dang. So cool. Dude, those are sweet.
D, you can get in on it too if you want.
No, I'm good. I'm busy. I'm busy actually working. Like this.
You have no idea.
Sweet.